Good morning, everyone. This is Ann Miller French with Angelic Hands here to do this week's live. I am streaming on Facebook for Angelic Hands as well as on my YouTube channel. So, hello and welcome. If you're just joining me today and you're new to me, I'm going to give you a little bit of a background as to who I am, why I'm here today, and the message that I'm going to share with all of you. And to those that have been following me for quite some time, a humble heart full of gratitude. Thank you. And I am, still continuing to practice what I preach and doing one thing, if not more, every single day to step out of my comfort zone. And although I've been doing, live videos for quite some time, there's some days where I'm gonna be quite honest. There's some days where I'm just, not feeling it, or I simply don't want to do it, or something is holding me back. So those are the times, the moments when I really check in and say, okay, what's standing in my way right now? What fear am I facing right now? What emotion am I working through right now? Is it fear of humiliation? Is it fear of being vulnerable? Is it fear of rejection? What is it? And literally sitting with that and unpacking my own emotional baggage and looking at it. So that was, really ties into what I'm going to be talking about today and how the universe rewards courage and how this ties into our own individual ascension process. Anybody that's not familiar with me, you're here for a reason. You found me for a reason, whether you're catching me on the live or you catch me later on the replay. Um, I am the owner and founder of Angelic Hands. I started my practice back in early 2016, and I wear many different hats. My practice was founded through my own personal healing journey, and I started with Reiki therapy at that time. But alternative wellness methods, you know, trying different things, like being open to holistic wellness, if you will. That journey actually started for me back in 1991 when I was recovering from major surgery. And I was in a pretty dark, space in my life. I was working through depression and multiple surgeries that I had. And just had, very little self confidence and really was working through multiple eating disorders and PTSD of different forms based on different traumas that I experienced in my life. And hey, Nikki, thank you for hopping on. Thank you for the hearts and the love. I always appreciate that. So, yeah, a lot of different things that I was going through. And, you know, I wow, when I look back, and I was spending some time with that today, and I do that from time to time, when I'm working through something, I look back like, wow, giving myself a pat on the back and saying, look at how far you've come, but look at how much more there is to do. It is an individual journey for each and every one of us. And I've said this before, I'm going to say these words again: never give up on you. If I can do this work, you can do this work. And, um, with that said, I wear many different hats. So I'm a quantum life coach, and I even have a mentor. I have been working with she's been my mentor. She's been my life coach for many years. And I am extremely grateful that we connected and that she came into my life. And I'm talking about Jessica Alstrom. I absolutely love her. And I see, from my own personal journey, the value added to have a mentor, to have a life coach, to have somebody walk alongside with you. So that's something that I personally do when I'm working remotely, one on one with my clients. But I also, have my things that I'm still working through. And that allows me to continue to unpack my own baggage, work through my own journey and really allow myself to, be become more, be more of me, be the best version of me, and be there for others. I'm a psychic, I'm a medium, I'm an intuitive. Um, I bridge the gap between the living and the afterlife as a medium, as a psychic. I work with all of my different. I lovingly call them my clairs. So the clair audience, clairvoyance. There's many. So working with all my sensory abilities and being able to bring forth that information. I am Reiki Master Teacher. So as I mentioned before, I started my practice angelic hands through Reiki, but it grew exponentially since then. I have gone through so many changes and have witnessed, change of my mind, body, and spirit by really going there and facing those things. And, I even said this yesterday that I do some of my best work in the dark. And that's no joke. It's going in and having the courage to face my own stuff and look at, where I'm at. And, you know yes, there's things that are balanced, but there's also some things that still are that are imbalanced that I'm still working through. And it's a beautiful process. It's an opportunity to dig even deeper. And let's see what else. I work with light language. I'm a light language practitioner, and I'm also a quantum energy healer. So some of that's new to you, or some of that terminology you've heard before. Awesome. Um, I have complete descriptions regarding every service that I work with, every product that I work with, listed on my website. So I invite you to take a look at the end of this video, or anytime you feel called to. My website is reikiangelichans.com. That's ReikiAngelikHands.com. So I'm going to dive into today's topic. I actually have to be mindful of the time. I've got to hop on a client call in a little bit. So I'm super excited about that. But I wanted to make sure that I made some time today to hop on and do this live. So, what does that mean? The universe rewards courage. Well, first and foremost, I'd like you to ask yourself this question, and you can even write this down, and then take some time. When you have some me time, meaning just you alone, no distractions from family, kids, dog, daily obligations, work, whatever that looks like. Like literally take your blue pen, take some paper, and allow the information to come through, allow the answer to come through. Don't second guess it. Like just let it come through. And let the answer unfold, and write it down based on the questions that I'm gonna, have you ask yourself today. So what was coming through is, what are you afraid to face? What are you afraid to feel? What are you afraid to do? What are you afraid to let go of? What are you afraid to try? What are you afraid to say? And this one, I'm getting choked up from it, because I'm really feeling this from the collective. I'm an empath, and I'm a sensitive, and I feel things very deeply. And there's a lot going on right now, and I can speak firsthand from my own personal experiences regarding loss. That last question is, what are you afraid to lose? Like really sit with this. So I'm going to repeat this again. What are you afraid to? And then face, feel, do, let go of, try, say, lose. And in this lifetime, what would you like to create? What do you want to become? What do you want to share? What do you want to experience? What do you want to try? And how these questions tie into the universe rewards courage, and how this ties into the ascension process. The ascension process is simply, the process of remembering who you are. Like if I had to explain it, we come in, we're having this earthly experience, but we come in a state of amnesia, if you will. It's like completely wiped out of remembering who we truly are, and then bit by bit, piece by piece, fractal by fractal, we start calling these pieces back home again, and becoming one again, and remembering exactly who we are, just how powerful we are, all the different things that we've been, all the different things that we've experienced, all the different places that we've gone to, all the different people, places, and things that, you know, kind of like that deja vu feeling, like, God, I feel like I've been here before, or I've known that person before, or I've done this thing before, because you have. I can speak from my own personal journey of being an old soul, and really uncovering bit by bit, and bringing back these pieces of self, and remembering, like, wow, okay, this is this is fun to me, and I'd like to express this. So you've probably seen, a lot of different things, some fun things, some silly things, some things like, I'm out there. So, and I say that, with a heart full of laughter and with a lot of fun, like doing reels through Instagram and then sharing them all over the place, and really spending time with my inner child, the little girl inside, and the part of me that was told at a very young age, very early age, um, quiet down, don't say that, don't do that. Feeling like, there was lack of time, not enough time, and then shutting down over the years, shutting down wanting to express, shutting down wanting to dance, shutting down wanting to play, shutting down wanting to have fun, shutting down also my gifts and abilities, where there were a lot of things that lay dormant for quite some time. And I will tell you that um, part of this was back in 2016, where when I made that conscientious agreement to myself, and I said, you know what, I'm ready to completely open up the floodgates and start working more with my psychic abilities, my mediumship abilities, and holy cow, I mean, when you say yes, the universe supports you in that and rewards your courage, but it takes courage. It's facing those fears, and the voice in our head and the egoic part of self that says, well, if you do that again, remember what happened last time, it's not safe, or you might be rejected, or you might be humiliated, or um, all the different things that come through, the voice of self-sabotage, the very part of us that was always there to act as a protector, to act as a warden for the inner child, the little girl inside, the little boy inside. And it's to go through this reparenting process, if you will. With this ascension journey, there is no part of us that gets left behind. We have our higher self, we have our inner child, we have the egoic self, and that is, simply the wounded part of us, and bringing all of us back together in harmony and working through this journey, and um, facing these things. And, I talk a lot about different things that I have been working through, like getting back on my stage, getting on my platform, like getting out there and dancing just because, laughing just because. And then there's the days where I'm taking those moments and taking that time and space to go within and to dig even deeper. And as I mentioned earlier in this broadcast, like going in and looking at those darkest places, forgotten about parts of me that were rejected, abandoned, um, you know, looking looking at it and knowing that through our intimate circle, when you look at, who's in your life right now, everyone is acting as a mirror reflecting something back. Hi, Roseanne. Thank you for hopping on. It's, these mirrors reflecting something back. So we're going to notice a couple of things. When we interact with others, we're going to say, wow, I'm inspired by this person today, or I'm triggered by this person today. So when there's a trigger, it's an opportunity to go even deeper and to start looking at, okay, where why am I triggered by this person? Why is there anger coming up? Or what is this feeling? Like sitting with that emotion, whatever it is. And yeah, I'm just looking at your message, Nikki. Yeah, finding the balance, definitely. So, I share this a lot with my clients that I work with. You're going to have those days where you feel like you're on cloud nine. That's awesome. Then you're going to have those days where you're going back down into the trenches and you're bringing those pieces back up and working through it. But I will tell you that for me, and that you hit the word, perfectly, Nikki. It's that balance. So it's not, just about work, 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 no play. What I found is that, I find a time of the day, I carve it out as far as what is my me time, taking that time to go in, look at those things that are coming up and say, okay, this mirror, this person that's reflecting something back to me, um, what is this emotion? What is this bringing up for me? And going back to, the question that I had earlier, what are you afraid to face? What are you afraid to feel? Even if that means sitting and crying for no reason whatsoever, like getting that grief out of your body and taking a look at it. Part of it is saying, okay, that's the work part of it, but what am I going to do with this after I've worked through it? So those are the times where I take my creative expression and my inspiration and I talk about turning pain into my purpose and how I've dedicated my life to sharing my journey very openly with others as far as things that I've gone through, while finding that balance, as Nikki mentioned, and doing something now with, what I brought out of me and saying, okay, um, for example, yesterday I was working through a little bit of depression that was coming through, and I had more coming up in my heart space, my heart chakra. It's all about love. And, you know, this whole area surrounding grief, and still grief surrounding, my dad's passing. Like next August, it's going to be 2 years since he passed, but there is no timeline on that grief cycle. And what you go through. So I sat with those feelings, allowed myself to go there, sat with the tears, held loving and safe space for my inner child, and let her show me and speak to me what was still there and the things that weighed heavy, weighed heavy on my heart. And then took that afternoon time and then took those feelings, took that energy and did something with it. So I was having a dance party, and then I decided to create a reel and share my joy with others. And I'm not only doing it for myself when I'm sharing these things, whether it's a dance video, a reel, or if I'm creating something, sharing, an artistic expression, like if I'm painting a picture, or if I'm sharing a live healing session, or I'm sharing something from my heart, literally sharing from my heart. I'm giving life to something that may have felt like death, or giving life to something that may have felt heavy, giving life to something that just felt stuck, and just literally repurposing that energy and doing something with it. So, going back to the universe rewards courage, when we start to go in and face these things, and then we're stepping onto our own stage and finding that balance, like taking that time to go within, but then taking that time to also look at, okay, what can I do with this today? How can I incorporate some play into my day? How can I honor that little girl inside or that little boy inside? I will tell you that, um, and I'm going to, say this again, the universe does reward your courage. You will start to see shifts, even if it's a subtle shift, knowing that whatever change you're making inside of you, you're going to see a direct reflection of that in your outer world. Guaranteed, guaranteed, even if it's a subtle little shift. So take some time today, to sit with those questions and just, like I said, take your blue pen. Blue represents the throat chakra. This is all about your truth and what's coming through. No judgment whatsoever. If you, when you think about it, when you're speaking, to your inner child, you're having a conversation with your inner child. You're asking him or her to show you, to tell you, to talk to you, whether that's vision popping through, having some kind of a flashback coming through, hearing something. Don't second guess it, just allow it to come through and write it down. Spend some time with it, spend some time unpacking it, looking at it, because if we go into judgment of what's coming through, it's like judging, our child, or judging a child, and then they want to shut down, and then it really affects that trust factor. So when we're doing any type of work, it's creating that safe environment and being able to hold space for yourself, no different than a parent to a child, like creating that safety, creating that welcoming environment to do this work. So, a lot going on. I just really felt called to hop on today and share this message, and continue to give yourself a pat on the back for all of your wins and everything that you have, accomplished to date. And know that we're all in this together, and we're working through something. So I'm continuing to step out of my comfort zone and get the message out, and with the heartfelt intention that somebody receives something from what I've shared, and I'm grateful for that. So I just really wanted to say, thank you for joining me today, and for, um, you know, all the love. And if you find that there's someone out there that could really hear this message today, feel free to like it, love it, share it. And I thank you. Hope you have a beautiful week. And as I continue to receive more information from Spirit, from my higher self, I will be sure to share it with all of you. Thank you.